So, we are live, dear friends, dear theater lovers. Welcome to our panel. It's a special panel about theater. We have today with us two very nice guys, very passionate about theater. In the left of the image, you have Alex Mihaescu, okay? And he is an actor, also a director in the theater business. And on the right, a good friend of mine, Florin Kevorkian. It's a complex guy. He's an actor, he's a director, a script writer, casting director, and so on and so forth. So he's an orchestra man. Guys, welcome to our panel. Today we will talk about future possible expression in the theater field, from online theater to virtual theater like 360 degrees, or maybe virtual reality, or maybe augmented reality, so on and so forth. So please begin. I am happy to be here with you, and I'm eager to hear what you have to say today.
Good morning.
Good morning, first of all.
Good morning to everybody. We don't know exactly what hour it is where you are, but we are enter now in just only 1 hour in Dumbrăvița, hour, meridian, let's say. Alex here near me, it is either director, but it's director of theater, which is interesting to know. But he's going to he's coming to the film. He's a great actor film, and he made casting directors. That's mean then both of us, we are in the world of an artistical world of theater and film. And do you understand from how many jobs we have, how easy it is to live here in Romania? And not only. So Alex, you said something about your process to make theater in film, and to shoot in how many, in 360 degrees. So it's a spatial camera. It is something new here in Romania. I tried another movie as actor in that moment, and we know how perfect it is to come on a new territory with a new specific, let's say, engineering or devices, those, because all the time you just know and understand, then you forget something, which is not so hard to take it, but not from Romania. I just say as a word, in the moment when Radu Mihailanu came in Romania for his first movie, his very first movie, Trair, he came with Macintosh. It was like that in those times, and with movie magic schedule, and everything was absolutely perfect and novator and extremely new. But after 3 days, he forget, and he have not toner. he cannot print all what he have, all the schedules. So they put in the Romanian way on the paper with the pencil, and they make everything perfect, but not with Macintosh. So how it was for you from technical point of view, and for, which is more important, from artistical point of view?
Well, this so we are here at the festival with a movie called The Tower, The Next Level. It's basically something between theater and film. It's still debatable what it is. For me, it's more like the future of television theater. This, because it's very much akin to television theater, and just the medium in which you deliver it to the public is the VR headset, Oculus. We use the Oculus Quest for this, and well, this project, which was financed by the Romanian National Cultural Fund and then by the Timișoara Cultural Center, was basically intended to take the first few steps in this direction of VR theater. And what we did is make the whole process from the development of the script to the final delivery of the film very easy and very accessible for especially for young people, for people who love this kind of gadgets like the VR headsets, just to show that you can do this. So just to show that you can use these VR headsets for something else than for games or social media, because these VR headsets are already very much used for product presentations, for commercial purposes, but less so for art projects, for this kind of storytelling.
Tell me, which was your purpose for that, let's say, theater film exercise?
Well, it was let's say, let's talk about the origin first. It's a pandemical project. So, during the pandemic, all the artistic field was pushed into the direction of making online things, and I saw colleagues of mine, directors and other theater troupes, making theater projects on Zoom, Skype, and so on. And I had no idea what I could do in Zoom. It didn't inspire me at all. But then Cristi Ilea, who's an operator from the Romanian television, proposed one day, let's do something for VR, and then suddenly all the creative juices started flowing, and I had this idea of making this play in a specific location, which is an old water tower. It's a monument of architecture, of industrial architecture here in Timișoara. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful.
We should see it, maybe.
Yes, you can.
It is open for visiting?
Right now they work on rehabilitating it, but there are tours that are sometimes scheduled there. But we wanted the tower as it was. It was very dark and mysterious and full of pigeon shit and full of pigeons, and at every stage of pigeon life, from dead pigeons to live pigeons. Okay, so yeah, here you can see the tower. And okay, so let's like this. This is a schematic of how it is inside. It's 100, 200, about 4 stories high. Right, and the story in a few words is 6 people wake up in a purgatory. And this is the purgatory. This is akin to Dante's Monto Purgatorio, and they go through all these levels, and they find out about themselves, about the others, about what brought them there in this place in the first time. And they are also contemporary, our contemporaries. So they have all the problems the people from Timișoara have with politics, with with no heating during the winter, and all this kind of problems our people from here have. So in that sense, it is very accessible, the story of each one.
What you've done, that's what I'm asking myself, if it was interesting just from point of view of the newest exercise, or it was exactly what you need for the performance. You choose the performance before or after you have the idea to shoot in that idea.
Well,
After.
after.
So you were put in a situation to find something which is proper for such a story. What you've done, it's for me, it sounds like the off-Broadway performances, you know, where the real director does not want to make such a thing on Broadway because it is dangerous for the audience and they don't know how they will react. But all the truly directors from Broadway, they are coming in off-Broadway and off-Broadway to see what the newest director has in mind and to took from there what it is important and for them performances and who could charm the audience, let's say.
Yeah, we did work in an off-Broadway manner because we are in a small independent theater, and yeah, I totally agree with you. It's that kind of show,
you know.
But again, my ambition was not to make it just interesting from the technical point of view, but to make a good story.
Of course.
And this was the hardest part.
Of course, because this because you're an actor.
Yeah.
And we should tell you, we should tell to the audience, nobody writes some lines like an actor. Just if it is an extremely gifted screenplayer. Why? Just because an actor, when he's writing like for himself. He's making performances like he's want to be played in her own characters. So he will take care about the message, about the words, how they are entering the mouth, which is absolutely not academical way to say, but it is absolutely used in the theater and film. Make it to enter in my mouth. It is just about the words. So an actor knows how to work with other actors to feel well on the set. This is exactly what I was talking in that morning with my colleague Bogdan Mihaescu, who's director for animation. And we are talking about how it's feeling an actor on the set when the director does not pay attention for what he's done and just for the technical issues. We are losing. We are lose there because we should ask to stay in the signs, to go in the same way, in the same speed with the camera, to look in a special place where normally it's nobody, or is somebody from the camera, or a mechanical or something, and to have the direction there, and to feel and to think what you need to think and to feel. So it is, if the director asked the actor just to do, or if the actor said, it is not my job, it is your job, as director, to give me, it is nothing right. Normally, it is a symbiosis between them and the team. And in that moment, because you tried something which is like from another planet, let's say, to make performances in such a way, I should ask you, so the audience, the audience are looking just with VR. So, okay, because it seems for me like a performance, an interesting performance after The Night Asylum, where the director has the craziest idea to put the audience in the middle of the scenography, which is sleeping bed, is a bedroom, a common bedroom, and there were just 20 people with rotative chairs and with lights, and they start to play, but everything it is in the dark. So If you put the light on the actors, you will see them. If not, not. They should just have to play. And when you hear a voice, you put the light there, and you hear another voice, you put the light there. So you see what you have to see, what you have in your inspiration in that moment. VR, it's looking, for me, it's looking like the same. It is true or not?
Okay, let me unpack it. So first of all, our process was different. So and also similar in a way. So we wrote the screenplay. I wrote together with so Ionut Sochu was the main scriptwriter. I worked together with him because I knew the location. I knew exactly where we will shoot each different scene. We prepared them into different levels.
Yes, and you know exactly the specific.
I knew exactly where we did, but we did rehearse for 1 month before. So we had we rehearsed it more like a regular play in our theater.
But you had the exactly.
Always
exactly
keeping
spaces,
in mind
yes.
how we will shoot.
And you have marked or
we marked it. Yes, we marked it. Also the actors contributed to the script. They wrote like for their
like in Commedia dell'arte in a way.
Just at the beginning they wrote like a biography of their own character, which the scriptwriter took and developed. So basically the actor helped establishing the character, and then the scriptwriter together with me took the action to the end, and what happens with these characters, well, we did this also because we knew we'll have only 3 days for shooting. So we had to shoot 2 big scenes each day, so just to finish it. And the main difference between what you described and this is that we could perform this also in the real space. There with the public, which could come with us on these different levels, like moving.
And you tried that?
We haven't tried it because the tower is already in. I told you they are. They started construction work on the tower, and in 1 year or 2 years it will be a cultural center. And maybe if there's still enough in the tower of the atmosphere we use for the shoot, maybe we will try to do it also as a live performance.
Yes, it's possible.
It's hard to
and they have the
say by now.
opportunity. They have the opportunity to compare if they will see the movie and they will see the performance directly.
Yeah, but for now, the main objective was to make this experiment with the VR camera, and this was the main objective, and not to do the live performance. If it's possible and if there is interest, we will do it.
What do you believe about that way from the theater to the film? Which is, we have a discussion yesterday. Which is the first, the theater or the film?
Which is the theater was the first, of course. Historically speaking.
No, it's not. No, it's not. The movie was the very first movie in the antique times.
Really?
Yes, because they were the pictures from the caves.
Okay.
They are part of the movies. They are visual.
Okay, I'm not so really. I'm not so interested into making.
No, we are joking, of course, because of course, because we believe that
I'm a practical guy.
Yes,
and
but before they sign on the caves, I believe then they had the rituals. So ritual is a part of the theater. So probably in the right way, it is the theater first.
For me, they are all part of storytelling. So literature, movie, theater is all, music is everything is part of storytelling, and that's the most important thing.
And a part of emotion.
And a part of emotion. And in this sense, I don't think one is more important than another.
I believe
the story is the most important in the end for me, and the medium you choose is always depends on the times, on the context, on many things.
Well, we discussed either about that idea of using techniques and new techniques in theater, just because theater was and remains an important important art part for the audience, and the future step, the future level, it is the movie. And in that moment, everybody wants to be as technique as possible it is, and to make the theater to look like the movie. No, it's impossible. Even if you may have lights, spatial lights, very special art departments, there are performances like Dragoș Buhagiar, where you have some construction on the stage which are hugest and absolutely amazing. But theater is theater, and is based, in my mind, on the idea of Shakespeare, who said just, audience, please think that here they are the tents of the French army, and there are 10,000. And on the other part of this stage, they are the army of the British, and there are 20,000. And in that moment, they are just moving one to the other, and they are put in the middle. And in the middle, you have 4 actors. But it's enough, yes, because you have in your mind everything.
We can use our imagination to fill in the gaps, and that's why I think it works to also combine these art forms, also to take from one and to enrich the other. It works also in movies, like when you see a script which is most certainly written for theater, but you see it as a movie, and it's still very interesting and very fresh, and you can go with it. But if so again, when film appeared, there are also people who said this is the death of theater, and
which
it wasn't.
Not, yes.
Actually, they started to take from movie what movie could do better, like changing the spaces, very
the images,
and,
the lights, and everything. Yes,
and theater found out very soon that it's not necessary to have this change in spaces. You could do the play in a single space, and still the imagination would fill the gap for those changes. And then this is how we arrive to the newer forms of theater.
Normally it's a mixture, and I believe then you in a lead part in translate yourself Cocoșul decapitat. The roots. Rooster,
right?
Rooster, yeah. I believe that the theater performances and the theater experience helped you to go with the character from a part from the beginning to the end, and as a lead part in a film, I believe when you feel the same than you are in a rehearsal time, because it's looking like a rehearsal to make scene, not scene after scene in a consequence, but to make one scene from the final, and after that a scene from the beginning, and after that a scene from the middle. And you never know exactly, but you know from where are you coming, where are you enter, what you have to do, and where you will leave after. So that's it. Is like
that's the tragedy of the actor. He has to know everything and still to forget everything.
Of course, of course. But at the same time, to have the signs and say, "But you're an actor. You should keep the sign." Of course, I should keep the signs, but give me time for rehearsals. Give me time. Give me the soul for. And after I learn them, I become after that free instead of them.
But for the public, I mean, it's not so important what happens behind the scenes.
Of course, they will not see
theater. So the point of view of the actor is sadly doesn't really matter.
Of course,
other than for let's say.
For what I'm asking now, it is just to make a team, a real good team between the actor and the director, between the actor and the technical team. They are like the colleagues. I said to my students in the moment when I work with them about the movies in movie acting, it is then they are the very first in the entire pyramid of the team, because they are the production, the assistant directors, all the chief departments from all the departments involved in the movie, the camera, the director, and they are just in the top, because everybody works for them. But in the moment when you make cameras rolling, action, all the pyramid, they are turned up, and everybody, they're up to his head. Do not forget the lines, do not forget the movement, do not forget the thoughts, do not forget the feelings, and everybody, they are waiting him just to do what he have to do.
It's a lot of pressure on an
but
actor in front of the camera. But I don't know. I like both being in front and behind the camera. It's working on a movie is so much adrenaline, much more than in theater. In theater, you get that kind of adrenaline only in the last week. But,
before
during a shoot,
the premiere,
during the shoot, you have it all the time.
Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. You are not allowed to come if somebody's thinking. Then an actor could have drinking or something. It is exactly. I talk all the time about that. The movie actors said, "Ha! You in the theater could repeat the performance. You will have audience also tomorrow, also after tomorrow, instead of us, which are working in that location just today, and after that we are leaving." It's not true. It's exactly like the theater actor who said, but you may say once again, once more, please, like in, let's say, Peter Netzer, when they have 20 takes, or sometimes in Cristi Mungiu, 50 takes, 50 and something. So you said, no, it's not true, because all the time for each take, you should have the process to be the best. Because if not, if somebody said it is your fault for something, you're this. So in fact, each of them, they're absolutely unique in that moment. And for each of them, you should be in all your power, in all your energy, in all your thoughts, in all your feelings, because God is help you just if you are prepared to keep it. And that's just for the audience, just to know them, then how easy it is.
But I think for the audience, the main difference is that somewhere, even if you make it as immersive as possible, like we are, there's still something left there of a difference. They know the guy from the movie screen cannot go out of the movie screen and come and slap him.
Yes.
And on the other hand, an actor from the stage, she could come in the first row and start talking to you, right?
Yes.
So I think that's the main difference still, and that's why theater can't be absorbed by the newer forms.
Yes.
Because this
it's more live.
This live thing will.
It's live directly, and you never know if an actor makes something wrong. All the time they said the people who are coming from many times at the same performance, but it is the same. But you change in each performance. Something is you change something because you have a partner who is alive. And you are alive, and maybe something was happened with you in that day or in the last week, and you understand in another way the character. Of course, you have the same line, but in a way you are different. In the film, of course, even in VR, nobody comes to slap you in a way or another. Yes.
Also, the theater is, I mean, like good theater complex theater, not
Yes.
like if you do some bar play for audience who come to drink a beer and watch some funny performance. It's still very demanding intellectually. So you cannot go away only with what they said. You have to interpret more. You have to be more attentive to a certain kind of
Message,
language, message and the language of science that each play develops on its own. Each director, each text develops, because each play is unique in its own way. So
I really believe then the meeting between an actor, a performance, a director, and the audience, the public, it is something magic, because you may change his mind with a word, with a thought, with an idea, and he can go at home, even from the movie, even from the theater, with something new. Of course, if I'm talking with the woman who left me, they said all, it's not your theater, it's not your movie, the life is different. No, the life is not different. The life is just a little bit larger. But in the theater and in the movie, in the subject, you have a structure which you should keep it. And in that structure, you have an idea, you transmit it to the audience. And if it is a good idea, you may change somebody, at least one from the audience. But usually they are not just one. They are leaving home with something new. That's the reason why it exists, the theater and the movie.
But for theater, it becomes the public, I think, is a little bit dwindling, because it's hard to teach them now, for the new generation, to teach them this language of theater and to make them care for it, mostly because there's so much other stuff around, so many other activities that they could do, and that they are more accessible. For theater, you need some time to invest. You need to see at least 10-15 performances, different,
to understand
complex,
about
to start to understand the language of and the complexities of modern theater.
Peter Brook said, then if it's existing, somebody staying on the chair and somebody else who's looking at, that's mean theater.
Yes, he said that.
In a way it is.
But he didn't have the challenge to with this new generations to bring them in theater.
Of course. No, theater is on the street in the same time. Film is on the street in the same time. What we are fighting for, it is to transmit an idea. And what we saw in the movie, in that festival, either that year, that this new selection, it is how you may transmit to the public, to the audience, to think free, to destroy the borders, not in a normal way, it's in physical way, but as idea to may believe and to may imagine things. Because that's in my mind, and I believe in yours, it's the same. Theater, in fact, it's putting a light on life, on a spatial, specific way, to may give you hope, love, forgiveness, or other ideas. If those ideas, they are good ideas, the idea of principle, right principles from everywhere, you make that people better than he is.
Yes, of course.
If you are not believing that, we don't want to do it. And if you start I just ask you in that moment, which was, if you may say to us, the most emotional moment in your theater actor life?
I don't know. I don't know. Again, for me, because this is my work, my life, I stay far of making some kind of hierarchy. I'm very happy with everything I did, with most of the things I did. Maybe some I don't love so much, but
no, I'm thinking in a moment when you forget the lines, you have a new actor on the stage. Maybe in a moment when the other one forget what he have to do, or the light is crashing or something.
yeah,
When you have that moment of I don't know, of the maximum, of the climax of acting, and you should take a decision, and you took it, and you do it, and
Well,
you've done the performance.
I think in most productions there were such moments.
course.
That's why I couldn't name one especially. Um, yeah, again, I don't like to make this kind of distinctions because they are so different. Each performance, each movie, each thing, they do go, like you said, in another. They put the focus on something else, and so of course I could say, like, for me, when I shot the one other movie with Gabriel, I did, like, I remember, to prepare for this thing of being in a prison for
Yes.
2 years. I did this. I closed myself in my bathroom for 8 hours and closed the light just to to feel it. How does it feel to stay in a dark place? And
It's true.
and then of course trying to recapture that feeling on the set where there were people going around and there were lights. It was easy, and not every shot. I didn't have the idea or the feeling that I had that kind of emotion at each single shot we took. But in the end, it worked out. So I can't really pinpoint which one is it.
It's a story when you prepare.
Also, your inner emotion and the way you perceive it on stage or in front of the camera is so different from what arrives outside often. So
tell me, please, do you believe then your experiment with VR transmitted the same emotion like in a normal theater, and the same emotion like in the movie? How did you feel the audience? How they said to you after the performance, the VR performance?
The main difference was the point of view, or their point of view, of course. So and I could play with that. I could put the audience and look at the actor like being big here.
Okay.
Two big talking heads above their head.
Haha.
And then one came up like this. And
Yes.
the one I put them on a table, and all the people were around the table. So it was like in the middle of the
something. Okay.
Of the fruit bowl, and looking around at each actor and at each discussion. So, and this is something you cannot do so easily, neither in film nor in
yes,
theater.
I tried in my performances, which was most a part of the beginning and of the last of the final. It was the performances around the audience. And they start a fight on the stage, and the other one in the back of the hall, and after that in the other part, and they're looking around for everybody, and they had inside them the feelings of being with somebody against them and to want to kill them or something like that. In VR, I believe that it's interesting, and at the same time it could be comical because they're speaking like, they're not real. I don't know if you transmit them the feeling, then they're they're in, or they're.
Well, that's what the public said, that it was so much more real for them because of this manipulating them into looking from different points of view, which they didn't expect.
Of course.
So you can play with this.
And the criticals, what they said?
it went well. So each one who really saw the thing from the beginning to the end was very much
Okay.
happy with the experience.
Okay, of course.
And from outside, it's very funny because you see a guy with the headset and you see him. Because I remember there were the guys coming to film. Oh, what's happening
Yes,
here?
yes,
What's
yes.
happening? And there was nothing happening here from the outside. He stood with the camera and he just saw because the magic is there inside.
Yes,
you know.
it's true.
I don't know. It's again, it's something new.
No,
I don't know
it's
if it will change anything because it's still very difficult to organize this kind of, like, I would need 40 headsets for 40 people to watch it at the same time.
Yes.
So what we do now is have them at different festivals, having the headsets for, I don't know, 5 days, and each day 4 or 5 hours, and they program, they make online, they come either at 4 or at 5, and they have an hour to watch the whole performance. So we never really meet everybody. We never really talk to everybody at the same time. So it's really hard to know. But the ones we saw, at least at the premiere, where we stayed there mostly with most of the people who saw the thing, there were no complaints.
I'm asking you because you made those parts of art, of visual art, and you know, from all of them, where are you feeling better in relation with the audience? In theater, which is a direct emotion, directly connection between you and the audience, the public, you and the people. In the movie, when they are looking at you months after you've done your work, and they're just saying, "Well, Alex, you were right in that character," or "Alex, or I feel you there, it was perfect." Or in that VR, where in fact, in the moment of the performance, you're not playing. You're just staying and looking at them. You already played in another part. So where it is exactly the connection, the human connection?
Well, we can talk about the story with each individual while drinking a beer. I think that's the only connection you can expect, a real connection. And I prefer that kind of connection instead of having like all the public and having like a panel discussion with everybody and they put questions. And I really prefer the individual talk to one person or 2 or 3. I think it's more intense, and that can go as well with after a theater performance or after the VR thing or after the movie. So in that sense, for me, it doesn't make so much difference. But again, for me, the most important thing is the storytelling and finding new ways to tell the story.
So it does not matter the way of doing it. It is the best, the same thing, which is absolutely classical.
For me, it's important. It's important not to get bored.
Okay.
So I'm that kind of guy who gets bored very fast if I do the same thing more than twice.
I'm just asking you.
So I always try new things,
new ways. The VR, it's permit you even to be in your apartment.
Yes, you can watch it also from home if you like. Then that was the main idea. If technology is coming to the theater and invading theaters, let's go also to invade technology space. So it is
so easy to make our children do not leave at the kindergarten, do not leave at the school. They stay at home. They do not need to leave even to the kitchen because they will ask for somebody, maybe a robot, to come and to take a sandwich. So they are just staying on the chair. And that's not my idea. It is the idea of Ovidiu Georgescu for his future film, where two kids, very extremely beautiful, twins, girls and a boy. It's not like yours because there's the difference. They are playing in life with them avatars, which them avatars, they are beautiful. They are sport people, also him, also her. But truly, they are staying with VR on the head, and they are fat, and they are just eating, and they are just drinking, and they are staying in the chair. Of course, it is something which you said. It's an extreme part of life, but truly, I believe, I ask you, because you make this experiment, if it is better to go through the rain, to feel the air, to go in the car, to be upset because you cannot find place of parking, most in Timișoara and in Sibiu and in Brașov in the moment, and to try to enter on the theater and to have a connection with the people and to see a story, or in cinema to see another story, or it is better to make everything as easy as possible, then you will become a part of nothing, because your life will be just what you see in VR, on the television, or around.
Yeah, for me, it's clearly the first, but
because that's with push you directly in your heart. What do you feel that it would be better for your kids?
For my kids, of course, the real thing,
Okay.
and for myself as well. I'm old-fashioned in that sense, and I would never go. I don't think I could go as far as doing this thing with avatars. That's why I still use actors with real faces, and I might do it one day just to try it out, to
But
see
just
how
to
it
try it
goes,
out,
just
yes.
to try it out. But I don't think we still have this imprinted neurological thing that we recognize human faces. First of all, human faces impress us most. So I don't think one day an avatar could be more realistic.
My avatar.
Your avatar. More realistic than a human person standing in flesh and blood in front of you. But that's maybe only my limitation. Maybe
I'm talking all the time, and I'm saying just if it's not here, even if he's not here, but it is with Bogdan Mihaescu or with Darius Hupov, we're talking all the time, or not just those days. How it's about imagination. It is right or worst for the audience, for the public, for the people. No, of course it is good because you make your borders to be as highest as possible, to go to the cosmos and another galaxies and all those. In the same time, if you are going just with imagination and not in a real life, how it is, where it's better in the real life. So how to mix them and the proper equilibrium between them, it is the way of life of each of us. That's what I believe.
This is now we're on the philosophical scale, and it's good that we are. And then you have many examples for this. I mean, you have the example of the guy who is shooting people on the battlefield with drones, and then he, in the real life, he finds Christ and he recants, and he feels that he's done wrong. And then you have in science fiction, you have this idea of sending an AI to space, maybe together with some clones or androids who have your avatars with them or whatever, and that is of course of big practical importance for advancement for human.
Well, I believe that.
But if we stay in this what is better for us as human beings
Yes.
right now. It's to firstly to find an equilibrium between this
Okay.
technological advancement and because imagination is fundamentally great. It's a
Necessary,
great
yes.
thing we have as humans, and we use it to advance
Yes.
in civilization and so on, but it also leads to dead ends. It leads to bad cultural habits like burkas and other stupid things. Yeah, we have this as humans. We have imagination. It's the question: how do we use it? How do we find an equilibrium?
I did not believe that I will said sometime what our teacher said, our acting teacher, Mr. Mihaescu. Of course, I believe. He said to us that in the future, you will understand exactly what I'm saying, even if it will be after 10 years, 20 years, or does not matter how much. He said from time to time to make a step backward and to look at what you have to do and to understand on which way you are. So I believe then we need to have the imagination in real life, but to not be conquered, not of the real life and not just from the imagination, the surreal world of all arts. It is better to have that middle way. We may talk about everything some days. If Darius tell us how much time we have, I know which subject I may discuss 2 hours. No, no. Okay, so we are sorry because we wait also our friend Yerolemau, but he's in that moment is on the set, so it's better for him. It is good for us that we are here, and then we were here. So we had the pleasure to discuss with who you are and what we are doing.
What I'm doing,
actor and director, and the new mind.
New mind. I don't know.
Yes, you are newest because you started such an experiment, and with Florin Kevorkian and with my friend Bogdan Mihaescu, he's in the back of the camera, and with Darius Hupov. Bogdan Mihaescu, I just should say that he made animation for a performance where they put it in projection in the back of the actor, and the actress is just playing in front of that animation, and to take connection with that animation, which is another kind of doing film in projection and theater in projection. There are many kinds of making theater, films, or VR. Please just don't forget anytime to remain humans.
Great message.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a very enjoyable discussion. I think we will come again in this formula with you both. Maybe next time we'll have also Miltos Hieronymo with us, because he's such a passionate guy regarding theater, not only movies, and he has a huge experience, and he worked in many experimental ways in theater. So maybe another time in the future, in a future edition of our festival. Thank you again. Bye, and see you maybe next year.
See you soon.